Hi, this is Neil's on Dynasty coming to you live from the basement where we have Ginger making her first debut and her co-star Dixie. Oh my goodness, no, that's not what it's about. This is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So much so, Gandalf went to bed. He said, "It's so damn interesting, Dad, I'm taking a nap." His loss. Information is always power. Information is power. And it seems like Russia... Oh, yeah, this is Neil's Han Dynasty. Like, share, subscribe, be kind, helpful, grateful, and buy some silver and some platinum. Seems like Russia's being delegated back to not a first world power. Kind of, sort of downgrading or upgrading with the power part of the world power, because they need to show strength, kind of sort of like what America did in Korea and Vietnam. Russia seems to be doing in Africa. You're like, Neil, what the hell are you talking about? I never know what I'm talking about. I just run my mouth. Hot air comes out, goes through the vocal cords, or shit flies. No, they're taking on Islamic extremists in Africa, and they're using the word Islamic extremist in Niger, in Mali, and all these other countries where Islamic extremism thrives. When everyone's happy that Nigeria made a deal with Russia, Nigeria is an Islamic terror state. So they're bad, because now Russia's cleaning house. First minute or so is just to build up, then it gets into the Russia part. And she's hard to understand.
For natural resources. Although French colonialism was abolished in the region in the 1950s, the jubilation was ephemeral because France continued to maintain most of its bases and influence over the neighboring nations long after the collapse of its colonial empire. Furthermore, in 2013, as part of Operation Serval, France sent 5,000 troops to Mali at the government's behest as it was facing an armed rebellion. The operation ended on 15 July 2014 and was replaced by Operation Barkhane, which was launched on 1st August 2014 to fight Islamist fighters in the Sahel. When the French withdrew their troops from Mali, Russia began to step in and take the place of the European nation. With little time to spare, the Russian-affiliated Wagner Group and pledged to assist Mali in its fight against Islamic terrorism, a persistent problem for the nation. Additionally, the Wagner Group has already been closely collaborating with the Central African Republic, another former French colony. The attitude towards France and Mali and the Sahel changed dramatically between 2013 and 2021. Paris, who was at first lauded as a savior, is now accused of failing to control the security situation and even encouraging neo-colonial dependency patterns. The Sahel countries' current issues can be partially attributed to the US and France's policy on regime change. Libya lost a reliable defense against militias and Islamists in 2011 when Muammar Gaddafi was overthrown by a NATO intervention. Libya, which had descended into anarchy and civil conflict, became a haven for
Okay, first off, I want to show you guys something right here, and I want you to go on Google Maps and look. It's Raza Futa or something. It's right around this area of Libya. And if you go on Google Maps, it's Raza Lufta. RASLUFTA or something like that. It's in this area here. It used to be one of the largest Mediterranean oil outlets from Africa. And if you go on Google Maps and look in that area and scope in, once you find it, it's Rasa Lufa or something like that. Shell or Chevron used to own it. Huge oil transporting. Go check it out. Most of the buildings have been destroyed by the Islamic terrorists after Gaddafi was assassinated, killed, taken out. I have a personal friend, part of the government over there now, that was sent back over there. His family actually was in control of Libya before Gaddafi took control, and they were looking to put his family back in power. can't talk to him on any social medias or anything because of the terrorism. They don't like Christians talking to their Muslim people over there, so I haven't contacted him in like 7 years. Yeah, the price you pay for knowing people, right? But anyhow, if you check that area out in Libya, you'll find there is a large, ready to go. Now, as I said, the buildings are destroyed, but the port is 100% intact. Any company in the world could go in there in a couple months, have that thing up and running, pumping oil out through the Mediterranean if we had Libya, or if Libya was more of a controlled democratic nation. I'll do a video on the Carthaginian Empire, which turned into the Barbary Pirates, which is the Marine Corps motto, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, where they fought the Barbary Pirates back in 1850s, I think. That was the last death throes of the Carthaginian Empire, which had been around for about 1,500, 2,000 years, not quite sure. And they were a slave-based empire located about 5 miles in, all the way around the Mediterranean, until Rome kicked their ass in what's known as the largest naval battle in history, the Battle of Economus, which took place in the Mediterranean Sea, which they still have not found the exact location for. I know where it's at, done some research, just need to get over there. But again, I'm poor. Anyhow, back to the story.
Jihadists. The Western endorsement for the unconstitutional takeover of power in Chad by Mohammed Debi also was seen in a negative light. The former colonial powers have even been accused of supporting jihadist groups. As a result of coups and escalating anti-French sentiment, France and its European partners abruptly left Mali, and Niger became the newest base for Western troops seeking to maintain their influence in the Sahel region. Kowtowing to his Western overlords, the Nigerian President Mohamed Bazoum approved the redeployment of 2 French-led counter-terrorism missions, Operation Barkhane and the European Task Force Takuba from Mali, to the country. He asserted that Western troops would bring stability in the region. However, this sentiment is not shared by the Niger's populace. The masses feel that the presence of Western militaries would only intensify the cycle of security force abuses, civilian mistrust, and jihadist attacks intensify. Recently, several people demonstrated in the streets of the Nigerian capital, Niamey, to protest against the French anti-jihadist force Barkhane. Some of the placards read, "Get out of the criminal French army," or "The colonial army Barkhane must go." This increased cynicism and antagonism toward what the Nigers perceive as colonial powers has been coincided with an increasing faith in Russia. You see, Moscow has thus far had some degree of success in the region. The Malian armed forces are now more trained and equipped than they were a few years ago. Thanks to Russian assistance, the Russian mercenary group Wagner made its first big mission in a village called Maura, an area which has been controlled for several years by militants.
Okay, first off, it's a militia force, the Wagner group, the Russian group, because the Russian military can't actually work there. They're like BlackRock. They're a private civilian military that was hired by the Russians, mostly Russians. Guys get paid very well, and they work for the Russian government as mercenaries. And their job is to kill Islamic terrorists. They're good at it.
From the Al-Qaeda-linked group of support for Islam and Muslims. These success tales would have irrefutably increased support for Russia among Nigerians. Long live Putin and Russia, along with Barkhane out and down with France, were hollered during the latest protests. Some protesters also brought Russian flags while waving anti-Barkhane and anti-France banners. Russia is regarded by several nations in the Sahel as a trustworthy partner in the fight against Islamism. This, combined with the West's neo-colonial discourse and duplicity regarding multilateralism, the use of force, the rule of law, and democracy, would entice many countries to accept Russia as a dependable strategic ally.
Very interesting. You saw the Sahel area of Africa. It was in the center part between the Sahara and the Savannah. That's the area that the terrorists run in. And if you want to know about history, the Sahara was a slave trade route for the African slaves to go to Saudi Arabia. Supposedly America took 10 million slaves, but it wasn't America, it was the Western, or the white people took 10 million slaves, for which there's like 37 million relatives now, or descendants. And the Saudi slave trade took like 19 million, and there is zero descendants. That's why no one knows about the Saudi and the Middle East and the slave trade out to Africa. But a discovery was recently made in the Sahara, and it was quickly covered up, about thousands of old bones being found and them trying to figure out what it was. And when they figured out it was the slave trade, because about 60% of the African slaves that were sent to Saudi Arabia, first they got their dicks cut off, became eunuchs, which killed about 60% of them through the walk through the desert. And another 20% died because they tried to escape. And very few of them actually made it to Saudi Arabia. And another interesting fact, the Nigerian ambassador about 10 or so years ago was kicked out of England because he brought a slave. He brought a slave, a black African leader, an emissary of Nigeria, their ambassador, brought his personal African slave for whom he had his tongue cut out so he couldn't talk. These are just facts that you people just don't know about because you don't know about. I don't know, maybe it's you don't have enough time to enlighten yourselves as to the truth fact, or you don't know where to look when people try to hide info. Either way, that's why I'm here, for you to hate me for bringing the truth to you. I know I dropped some cool truth bombs here, but, you know, facts are facts. Don't believe me? Call me a liar in the description below. Hit like and subscribe. No, I don't know how to do that crap. There is no like and subscribe button. I'm just doing this because other YouTubers do it. You got to physically look for the like and subscribe button. Or if you dislike what I'm saying, double tap the dislike. It works. It lets me know what you're thinking. Leave a description or some message below if you think I'm an idiot and you don't want to research yourself and find out the truth, because I just love ragging on people who try and tell me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You guys have a good day.